Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with Darth Mod, playing as Poland, Lithuania, and we're looking at the final hour of the Austrians. So last time, if you don't remember, the Austrians tried to relieve the siege of Vienna by mustering all the forces they had at hand, marching towards. However, they were quite readily stopped by our forces. And so Vienna finds itself on its own, and it has decided to not go the same route as Kiev and die to starvation and just surrender in such, I must say, most unglorious terms. They've decided to sally forth and trying to break it. Now they hold a good amount, I would say, amount of troops, 7,700. Even though they've been under siege for so long, they still retain so many men. Now, the bad thing is, of course, the fact that a lot of this is untrained rabble. A large part of it is militia. I would say almost half of it is untrained militia. But that's kind of weighed up, in a sense, by the fact that they've got Royal Hungarian Grenadiers, Garrison Guards, Engineers, which is also a good unit, and some really good heavy cavalry, and a lot of cannon. However, they're not very likely to break through, as we have a force of 5,000 to start off with, and then we are reinforced by 7,700 men. So we have 5,000 men more than the enemy. Now what I could see is that the army that's been laying siege has not actually been able to replenish at all. So we have kind of lopsided units. And also this army, I realize, is kind of all over the place in terms of what troops it has. But I think this will be the end of the Austrians, and then we have kind of the slow burn of the Russian Empire, where we kind of have to chase them down. But by closing down this, we can totally focus on the Russians, and I think we will speed it up and quite quickly be able to move on to the next series, which we kind of already have decided is going to be the American Revolutionary mod for Empire as well. And I think we will have a vote on if I'm going to play the British or if I'm going to play as the Americans. So there'll be a vote at some point in the what's it called? No, I can't even think of it. The community is what it's called. The community tab. There is where you can vote on whether we're going for the British or the Americans. And I was quite surprised because I haven't played it. I've seen screenshots of it in my on Steam friends have posted, and I always thought it looked rather nice. And I was pleasantly surprised to see that the last time this mod was updated was this year at the 4th of July. The latest version was released. So it's nothing like, I mean, the Empire, or Darth mod I should say, hasn't been updated in forever. So it's kind of an old, pretty dated mod compared to that. So it'll be interesting to play something new and kind of fresh. Also, one of the things that I don't like about Darth mod is, well, obviously it has a pretty nice feature being able to have 40 stack armies in Empire, but I think it lacking in the visual compartment, especially among the uniforms. I think those do not look good compared to some other Empire mods we played. But enough talk of that. Let's finish the Austrians, gentlemen. So without further ado, let's strike up the drum and prepare to do battle as the Austrians sally forth out of Vienna. And there, beyond our trench lines, lie Vienna. The fortification The enemy is about to storm out of the fortification. Or probably not, as they have more cannons. It's a weird way how they do it. But they might very well come against our trench line. And in which case I've prepared it pretty darn well. So what I've gonna done is I've put extra unit, the smaller units in between, so we've made a continuous line of this trench line, so there's no gaps as it usually becomes in between. And in front of this, if the enemy decides they're gonna bayonet charge us, then the light infantry and the engineers have deployed these explosive devices. They're gonna throw a load of shrapnel on the enemy. Behind the trench line and behind all the troops, we have the cannon, which we have one battery here of 4 cannons of 24 pounders. We have 12 of these 8-inch mortars, which are stationed behind, and then we've got 3 different batteries divided into 4, 5, and 3 32-pounder howitzers. Should all be at fired will and at round shot to maximize the range. And I want them to fire at the enemy cannons as soon as we start. And then, kind of overlooking this and protecting this, we've got kind of the command hill, which I've got set up right over here. We've got the general, we've got 2 guard grenadiers faced either side, so if very unlikely that the enemy will break through there, but we've got a unit just in case. So these will be able to lay cannon shot all across in front. But then also, if the enemy gets closer, the very devastating shrapnel shot can be used as well. But we'll start out with round shot, as we want to shoot down as many enemy cannons as possible. So the first thing I want to do is actually, as soon as I start here, I want to move everyone in front back. And I also want to move all the smaller units I've placed in between to kind of fix the gaps. I believe this is a small gap unit. So all the small gap units should move away so that they are not hit by friendly fire as battle starts. And then we'll rearrange the smaller regiments at the end. So there, I've selected all of them. We'll go ahead and start. I'll move the troops back. I noticed right off the bat that we've got 2 Austrian cavalry units starting way up front. They're moving back though. Right, here comes our battery. Firing into the rather large enemy battery. And within seconds we destroy their armory. We'll bring it down to 54%. We almost completely annihilate this battery before it even has a chance to deploy. Looks like the enemy is about to fire back at us. Now the enemy does actually have more cannons than us, but I hope... Looks like they're aiming for our troops rather than actually aiming for our cannons, so there's not a battery fight back and forth. We did have some... the engineers, we can place spikes, and so they should probably be moved up front again to place spikes out there in front. Can the light troop... Can my light troop deploy spikes? Where is my light foot? There's the light foot. There's light foot. I'm actually thinking that the light foot should probably try to make sure that we've got this area covered. So we'll try to protect that from cavalry charges. Then the Pardurs might actually be sent forward just to kind of take up the enemy's attention, if you will. Well, basically what I want to do is have them go in and die for me. Them to protect this side, I want to place the smaller companies in the forest there, backed up by 2 smaller companies of the Grenadier Guard. So in case the enemy decides to take this hill, rather than deploy on here, we're going to deploy in the forest in behind and see if that works. Right, everything's going pretty well. Are these cannons firing as well? With round shot, they should have quite the range, and they do, so they can fire into the castle. Once we outnumber them in the amount of guns we have, the enemy should sally forth out of the castle. So I don't want to start out too early. We want to see if we can protect ourselves and minimize. Damn, we're putting down a lot of artillery fire. I want, since you're no longer actually firing towards actual targets, I'm not entirely sure. I guess they're firing after this battery still. You might as well break a hole there to make it easier for the enemy to get out, because they have a trouble getting out of that absolute crap thing. They have lots of infantry out here. These smaller might be deployed, I guess here. Can deploy them there. And spike, spike, spike. Spike up the flank here. Try to deny it as much as possible for the enemy cavalry, to make sure that they don't come through. What I also forgot to mention is I have 1 cavalry unit of my own, which is these mounted Grenadier Guards, act as dragoons, and they will fire from horseback, so we have that. And I intend to have them here in the forest hidden. I hope they are. I can't actually see. I think they're hidden. It probably should actually say that they're hidden, so they might not be hidden. But the idea is, if the enemy tries to bypass this, they'll ride close enough to these fire, and then they can charge. These small light infantry groups, not really going to do much use up front. So try not to have them destroyed. What we can do is we can have these 3 kind of still relatively good size stand there with toggle skirmish mode, so they will pull back once the enemy reach them. Right, so we do actually have some skirmish up at the front. The Paradurs have opened fire upon a garrison militia which is marching out. And I don't want that bloody garrison militia setting off any bombs or anything. This would be very unnecessary to have those guys kind of set off our prepared positions. Order the Paradurs to pull back, as it looks like they're doing some kind of fancy maneuver. Very fancy. I guess the Germans just want to show off how disciplined they are. Great practice for our cannons, though. We've quite quickly almost brought down the walls over here. But once we're done here, I want to start back focus. I think we're all ready now, because we've set everything up, so we should be well and truly ready. So I want to start focusing in the batteries. These do not reach. They can continue firing over there then. You will switch to round shot. See if you can break that one down. Then the 32 pounders. 32 pounders are a round shot. But the wall is broken down. Right, open fire on these. We did lose quite a bit of troops over here. 55 out of this unit. and about 30 something out of this due to enemy cannon fire, which lands pretty darn well as it does not get soaked up by the trench wall we built. But now, as we're focusing in on the enemy battery, we should be able to make sure that we outgun them and force them to leave their position of the castle and come at us. They do have a high amount of troops over here. So I think first order of business. Okay, now it looks like... Oh yeah, they're moving. They're moving en masse now. Cavalry charge. Carbineers going for the Paradeurs. Doesn't really matter. That was what they were there for. A 32 pounders will hold fire, switch to percussion shot, and fire percussion shot. The mortars will hold fire, switch to percussion, and then fire well. Same for the 24 pounder. And then all the... What are these? These are 24 round shot. Or what do we call it? Just normal cannon. They will switch to the shrapnel shot. And hopefully they will be able to shrapnel the enemy coming over here. But it looks like they're now actually aiming for the cavalry unit out here, which isn't that bad. Might as well slash that one to pieces. Right, the enemy is going heavy for my right flank to start off with. They have engineer guards, they have line infantry, they have some war bands and others. There's troops coming in towards that. They have troops coming in through the center, but they are being faced down by loads of my troops. So they're really focusing in on the center, or the... not the center, the flanks. We've got Carbineers charging in against over here. Yes, now the shrapnel is going towards here, which is nice. The lines are holding so far. I'll tell these guys to hold fire and then pick fire again. You will actually hold because now the cavalry is scaring you, which is unnecessary for you to ride away from them. Or run away from them because they are broken. Looks like these guys might very well charge. The bomb went off. Through loads of... yeah, they're gonna charge. And then we've got another cavalry charge. Ooh, massive fire from this one on firing everything it's got. Ooh! Loads of shrapnel going in here, kind of firing into our own units as well. But definitely killing loads of those grenadiers. It's fine for now on this side. It seems to get worse on this side, where we have loads of enemy troops now kind of overrunning, or trying to completely overrun our trench line over on this side. We do have the backup line, but I don't like it. They're kind of dangerously close to my cannons. We do have the foot guard unit, and I think we're gonna throw that one in over here to bayonet the enemy and send them off, as to not endanger our artillery. How's it going over here? This unit has suffered high casualties, and I wonder if at this range, yeah, canister might be better. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drag this one off. And then, oh, just in time for that one to rout. You're gonna come out of position there. Right, here comes the canister. Our troops are retreating. Another bomb went off, throwing shrapnel all over. Hopefully this one will come in position to start firing at the Austrians before they reach. But that might be too much to ask for. Loads of canister. The guards are preparing. Guess we might allow the retreating troops to pass through before we open fire. Right, we can wait no longer. The Grenadier Guards will open fire. More canisters flying in. I think we just blew... yeah, we fired through their own unit. Great. Might want to watch your fire there. Let's see, where... oh, we have a major problem actually over here. The guards should have stayed at their original position. We actually held the enemy off over on this side. The regiments held firm. These two, I mean, we still need to kind of hold that position, so they will go back. Now the guards will charge in to save the mortar crews, support the 150th Line Regiment. So guards go in to hold that line. Seems like the rest of the line is fine. I might want to push this one a little bit back. We'll drag out these a little bit. What we'll do is we'll swing this one around once this one comes to fire directly at these. This unit is now gone. However, that one remains. It's a pretty good angle for the cannons. We're going to hold fire. And I'm going to tell every single cannon to now focus in on this one. They've suffered a lot, these two. We'll pull them back further. This one is firing. This one not so much. We're still holding on there. We might need some aid though. Oh, they've been firing into the flank of this howitzer. It's a small Albanian warband. It's actually shot down my howitzer. The supporting companies have, unfortunately, because of their placement, not really done that much right now, and for some reason the Grenadier Guard units were looking somewhere else. Another bomb just went off right in front of here. What do I have? The line unit went away. We'll just... I need to pile on units over there. What's going on over here? Cuirassiers charging towards my cannon. They'll switch target, fire for those cavalry. Right, I guess that unit was sent away. Cavalry will now move out and move into a flanking position. Hold fire, switch to shrapnel shot, and then fire again. And the Grenadiers will move back as the general feels a bit threatened at this point. Still holding on here. But I think we'll need to pile in this unit over there. Or not at all, actually. We need to break these guys over here, and we'll break them by fire. So we'll open fire, fire down upon them. We're shaken and tired. They definitely need aid. The engineers will move to deal with them, and then one of the guard units will go on that side, one of the guard units will go on this side. The smaller companies will move up. This unit's not doing too well. Thing is, this is like ground zero for where I kind of want the shrapnel shots to go. Ooh, rather nice, the bouncing into over here. Carbineers. Yeah, slow advance towards here, firing at everything you can see. But I definitely want to get rid of the cavalry. Make sure that we possibly can get a cavalry advantage. Ooh! A load of enemy infantry has retreated. We'll retake our position at the... what's it called? The trench line and open fire upon the enemy. We'll march out just in range. There goes another bomb. Just so we can fire on those cuirassiers and kind of help out that little square. Firing extreme range to get rid of that carbineer unit. Hopefully that will work out pretty well. Okay, the cuirassiers have disengaged the little square. I wonder if they're planning on charging down my cavalry, what they're gonna do. Better start moving, because now my guard troops are opening fire upon them. Right, all the Austrians over here are running. I think we'll switch target to the cuirassiers. That's the one we need to deal with. The Austrians here, there's been massive melee over there. Drop the square. Move towards the center. See if they can aid there. I think this did a lot to have this line infantry fire into the side and shoot down a load of the Austrian cavalry that was harassing the foot guards, which still hold the trench line, even though there's problems on the flanks. That's bloody armored. You know what? A charge might send them away. What we'll have to fight these is instead we'll move up the grenadier guards, and then we'll have the... Oh, you're moving in. So you'll take charge of this side. And then we'll have the engineers also move up to the front. And have these move up to the front. And then you just holding the hill over there, even though it's not really necessary at this point. The last unit over here is now running. The artillery will hold fire, as I don't want to fire at my own. Instead, they will do round shot toward the armed citizenry. Howitzer units don't really have anything to target, except for maybe cannons inside, so they will do that instead then. You don't reach. Well, fire at the castle then. 24 pounder. Fire into the castle. The last fight is going to go down over here. We've got one of the Austrian units giving way and running away. This was a massive melee. Did the smaller the smaller company open fire? And it's enough to send the Austrians packing. Back on the line. There isn't a lot left. What is left is the enemy general, who's made a charge here at the very end of the battle, where a lot of his bodyguard is shot by the smaller company on that side. Oh, I believe we've got the general right there. They're firing. They've got perfect arc. They're continuously firing towards him, but somehow is able to get through. Almost looked like he shot his own soldier there. And oh, I was about to say he was lucky enough. Nope. Okay, so he's kind of stood there on top on this wall with this entire company firing towards him, and he was the closest one out of that, and then they all fired at him. That didn't kill him, so he rode through the grenadier unit, slashing as he went. But not that wasn't what killed him. What killed him was the fact that he headlong rode straight into the spikes and got crushed by his own horse. Wonderful. And there we go. A lot tougher fight than what I thought. But our lines held firm. I thought maybe the battle were gonna go that I was gonna have to it would basically become a siege where I would be forced to actually try to climb in or somehow. But no. Probably missed quite a few nice close-ups that we can do at the end, especially in the center and a few other places. But at the same time, you need to kind of weigh it up. Like, am I gonna lose the battle just to try and get some really good, nice close-up shots of the fighting? But there we have it. It's probably going to be quite interesting statistics coming out from this. But yeah, Austria's fallen, and it's just about mopping up the rest of it, which is, I mean, there's barely anything left now. So yeah, back to the campaign map, shall we? And here we have the statistics. So the enemy deployed, as we know, 7,700 men. Apparently we deployed 12,000, but that includes that 7,000 reinforcement. We know for a fact that I had about 5,000 men, which I lost half, 2,600. The enemy lost 6,000 of its men, including its general, in a very inglorious way. They have 1,700 men remaining, and I have 10,000 men remaining. And not only that, we broke a hole through the wall. So, I do say that the capital will surrender. Line infantry unit, 27 men remaining, but they killed 412. Line infantry, and then we go guards. That might very well be, I think, that was the infantry guards that was able to kill that many. Then we've got an artillery piece, 24 pounders. So those are the, I think that is the normal bore cannon, rather than, and it all these cannons are normal bore rather than the howitzer. So the normal bore got a lot more kills, but I think the howitzer doesn't. I mean, we've talked about this before, so we don't need to talk about it more. But the fact that it has. That the explosions kind of doesn't count, they count as sort of the world killing it rather than the unit. So there's Austria gone. As it is Austria's turn, we'll let them run through this and hopefully there's no more battles. But yeah, Austria is gone. Right as the end turn continues on, the Russians actually do go ahead and attack Moscow, and since I left such a small bodyguard, I wasn't entirely sure if I was gonna able to fight them off. But as we can see here, I was able to. I had 2,000 men facing off 4,000 Russians, and I was able to hold them off within the castle. But only now 500 men remain to defend the castle. Garrison line infantry managed the cursed number of 666 kills. And then you can just read through what everyone did. Even garrison militia, I was actually kind of surprised because they were the only ones I put on the wall, and they were quite quickly attacked by bayonets, by troops climbing up. But they managed to somehow survive and actually win the confrontation of the wall, even though, as you can see, there's only 14 of them left. Anyways, let's run this through so I can just go ahead and finish off Austria. Right, here we are. Enemy has raided Coburg, so I'm one rogue unit of the Austrians running about setting fire to Bavaria. Successful mission, units recruited over in Moscow, so that will make sure that that whole citizenship has been advanced. Not entirely sure what that gives. New town emerges in the middle of nowhere. Shame if someone would to live in this town. What was the town called? Let's rule the birds. Okay, right. Right, so there's not a lot left. Let's just pile on then. And, oh, what's this? I thought they were actually attacking me. I'm not entirely sure why I thought that. Let's see if I can place you so you actually support both of those. Oh wait, the Austrian capital wasn't actually completely destroyed. They attacked out before before they were completely like destroyed. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna break the siege. Gonna replenish its army just so I don't lose it. It'll be a shame to have like tons of troops out of that army get utterly destroyed when we can just use the Lancer army to get rid of them. So we're gonna start over here, and we're gonna start by getting rid of this one. We're gonna out-resolve it. So that means we've secured that, and that allows me to out-resolve this. And that just gains me a whole load of territory. And that leaves one thing, and that is us for out-resolving the Austrian capital. We lost 1,300 men. And boom! Campaign won by Poland and Lithuania. Didn't get anything more than just that little picture. Nation destroyed. Nation... Oh, the Cherokee Nation has come back? Ah, it was Austrian. Interesting. The Spanish have taken a lot of territory out here. But then again, yeah, New Spain. I thought it was some nation that had risen. It would be interesting if a nation would rise and then just start taking loads of territory. But that hasn't happened. Back to Europe though. So the Austrian theater of war is finished now. It's all about the Russian. However, I don't think there's going to be much left for the Russians. We're moving with great haste towards the few points they have left. And with the fact that I was able to hold Moscow with such a small force, relieves me from trying to retake it. So we have a little bit of a fight here. We need to fight across the bridge. Oh, we can actually reach this. Let's see, what do they have here? Nothing! Right, have to resolve. Boom. victory, so we took that. And what do you have out here? Nothing! Okay. You know what? Given the fact that Russia only has 3 territories left, I think this will be the last video. I'll just go ahead and make sure that I can out-resolve my way through everything. So, this will be the last video. And let's just pile on, make sure they can't take back Moscow by putting all the Bohemian Grenzers in there. And Bob's your uncle. I think we might have a problem here. Just because of the amount of troops that are stationed here. So I might wait for this one to actually take that and double back. But yeah, let's jump to a point in which I am victorious. And there we are. The last settlement of the Russians have fallen. 15,000 men against 8,000. We slaughtered them all. And boom. Nation destroyed Russia. And so I have completed everything I've set out to do. Namely, to kill off the 3 nations that partitioned Poland. We took out the Prussians pretty early on. Then we took out the Austrians. And finally, after securing the most northern territories of Russia, we also killed off them. So now all of those enemies of Poland have been destroyed. Someone asked about the Ottomans, but the side goal which I set aside, which was the 2 side goals that I had, besides taking out those 3, were securing Sweden, which turned into securing all of Scandinavia. And then there was capturing Constantinople, and I did capture Constantinople. And I didn't need to go any further, and since the Ottomans have decided not to continue any hostilities, after which I've sunk their navies and fought off their armies a few times at the walls of Constantinople, we didn't have to fight them anymore. And unfortunately, my modern army was never used, and we didn't even get close to building the steamships. But there we have it. Poland-Lithuanian campaign is now over. There will be a community post going up. It probably have already been answered by the point I actually released this video. Asking whether or not we should play as Great Britain or the colonies, the Americans. Fight for freedom or fight for tea. I don't know. Right, there we have it. And as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!